What is the NPRA and why is it important? We have a very special guest, Don Knox, and I would love to give Don a chance to introduce himself and to educate us and explain to us the NPRA.
Yeah, the NPRA was formed in 2017. It's the trade association or professional society for placement agents in the communities that they refer to. And also we have allied memberships. But we're here to kind of create a level playing field for all placement agents, make sure that the business climate is good, i.e. that legislation is favorable to placement agents and to communities, and then also to raise awareness of the existence of placement agents and what they can do to help families navigate their senior care options.
Right, and just so there are going to be people watching this that don't know what a placement agent is, so I'm going to ask you to just take it real basic.
Yeah, the basics are that these are folks that help families navigate their options in senior care for their elderly parents, their grandparents, whatever the case may be. So as you're considering options beyond living at home, whether that's assisted living or nursing, a nursing home or other type of care environment, so often people need help deciding what their choices are. And that's where placement agents come in. They're really great for families, and we are very supportive of the families and the placement agents that work with them.
So what I often hear is that the NPRA is going to raise the level of ethics and
That's right.
professionalism so people don't get tricked or so can you explain how you can accomplish that?
Yeah, oh, that's okay. Well, we have a best practices and we have a code of ethics that we live by, and if you go to our website, npraalliance.org, just 1A, npralliance.org, you can read those best practices, and we are trying to elevate the profession. There's a little bit of Wild West out there over the years, and but the agents we work with are very resolute about how and what the best way is to do a placement, and it's not one size fits all. It's a framework, but we do have standards that we try to uphold, and every placement agent who joins NPRA agrees to abide by those standards. And if it should happen that something comes out that makes it clear that the agent isn't abiding by the standards, there's a grievance policy, a grievance process that people can go through, whether it's a family, another placement agent, a community, and say, hey, this person isn't upholding the standards that you and NPRA have set. Then there is a process for either removing a membership or some other action that the association can take.
Right. Are you comfortable sharing? Because a lot of people in the general public, they wouldn't think of how a dishonest placement agent can hurt them for personal gain. And are you comfortable sharing how NPRA can help solve some of those issues and what those issues are?
Yeah. So not that it occurs a lot. None of this stuff occurs a lot, but one of the code of ethics, you're not going to churn. You're not going to.
So people don't know what that is.
Yeah, the churning is so you're not going to move somebody from one community to another community in search of a commission. So
multiple commission after
that's
commission.
right. So the ethics and the code of ethics and the best practices enforce that it is up to the client to initiate that. It's not up to the agent. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
Another thing is, they're really, common sense, basic things, but they're very important. That a check of the community's service history, their regulatory history, will be done by the agent. You're not just going to place somebody without checking how they are as a community. What are they following the rules? So those are a couple things that NPRA highlights.
Yeah, and would you know roughly how many cities or states it's in and how rapidly it's growing?
The association?
Yes, yes.
The association is in virtually every state. We have members in virtually every state. I want to say like 47. And we have chapters in about 12 states. But we are rolling out more chapters. We just launched a new NPRA community. So it's an online private social network for our members. And what it allows is for the first time, for our members to see what other placement agents and communities are members in their area. So even if there's not a formal chapter in a city, one example is San Francisco. We currently don't have a chapter in San Francisco. We're trying to launch a chapter in San Francisco. But those members in San Francisco can now see each other. They can begin working with each other and connecting with each other. And they may already do that to a certain extent. But now through the NPRA, they'll be able to work together more electronically. And then hopefully we'll be able to develop a chapter in San Francisco. Wherever we develop a chapter, it's much bigger than the placement agents themselves. The communities join at a rate of 3 to 5 times the number of placement agents. So what happens with NPRA, it's kind of this virtuous circle of the communities and the placement agents and then the affiliate or allied members working together as a community. And that gives NPRA its strength. Because NPRA has got to go out and fight some legislative battles. We've got to get some laws on the books that are more favorable, that kind of restrict some of the Wild West-ness of some of the state laws, and then also that help us get something called family choice. And what family choice is saying that the family's in charge of the decision. So we have this legislation in Colorado. We're getting close to this legislation in Arizona. But basically, the family can decide which agent they want to work with. And right now, the way these agency contracts are structured, they're between the placement agent and the community. The family really doesn't have a say. But NPRA feels very strongly that the family should be driving the placement.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Let me just kind of explain to some people who might not understand.
Yeah.
Like some of our clients, a big placement agency company might say, oh, that's my client because sometime in history that client put their name on my website.
That's right.
Correct? So they're bound to that company.
They are. That name is linked to the company, and even though that person behind the name, you, me, our parents, or whatever, they're connected, and a clock is attached to whatever the contract says, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, and as long as that contract remains in place, that initial agent, if you will, although you didn't sign up for it, you may have gotten paired with an agent really just by visiting a website. And so, again, we think the family, once the family understands this, and typically it happens where the person doesn't get the service that an NPR agent can give. So that service includes everything, touring homes, communities with the family, helping work on financial options, all the things that go into prepping a senior for making a move like this. Well, that requires a lot of work and a lot of attention, and some of the websites aren't able to offer that. And so right now, though, the way most of the contracts are set up and the lack of state laws to change this dynamic, most of those contracts are set up that you're locked in. 2 years.
Yeah. 2 years, got you.
Yeah.
And I want to be careful how I say this,
Yeah.
but some of these placement agencies, and you made it clear, you want people working with physical people who live in those cities and not just the internet service.
It's not like I'm opposed to people working with people over the phone. Okay. You should feel free to work with who you think is your best advocate.
Got you.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing I want to be careful, and thanks for clarifying that. Here's the thing I want to be careful saying, but let's say there's a company called Brookdale, and they have a website. This is Brookdale in your city of Paramus, New Jersey, where I live. But here's where I'm going to be careful. Some of these agency companies put up a website that make it look like you're on Brookdale's website, but it's actually their website. And it's hard to figure that out. And once you put your name and possibly phone number and email in there, first of all, they have the right to contact you, but secondly, you're their client, correct?
This is why it seems Wild West.
Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
It's like nobody can understand, and I think you and I are probably fairly savvy users of technology, and we can't figure it out,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So how can the common, the less savvy among us figure it out, and much less extricate ourselves from this situation?
So you NPRA, and let me just say, I work in this industry, and sometimes I do a double take on the website. Oh, this isn't Brookdale's website. This is someone else's website. And if I were to put my name and info in, I would become their client.
It is definitely buyer beware. And you're not even the buyer, because another important thing about the placement industry is that it's commission based. The communities typically pay a commission to the placement agent. So it's other than buyer beware, it's like inquirer beware, right? If you inquire, you sometimes unknowingly lock a family member into some sort of contractual arrangement to which you're a third party, but you are affected. Yeah. And it seems to follow you around. And family choice means you can break it.
You can break
You can break it and go with who you want. It's your choice.
That's good. Yeah. And then I just want to re-emphasize and repeat that NPRA is trying to clean up the Wild West, trying to clean up some of the dishonesty and deceptiveness, and make this better for the client and a better industry.
That's right. So the idea that there's people out there willing and able and are commission-based, paid to help you navigate the system is an amazing thing. That this service exists. And we want to tell the world, we want to shout it from the mountaintops, the rooftops, whatever, but we want to shout it to the world. But we do need to make sure that it's fair and understandable.
Yeah. This is helpful, and I guess you could just Google NPRA, but what would be the website you would find?
It's NPRalliance.org. So NPRA stands for National Placement and Referral Alliance. NPRalliance.org, and you'll find a wealth of information there if you're a consumer. We have a directory of all the placement agents around the country who are members of NPRA. We also have a certification program called the CPRS, and this is for folks who want to go a little bit beyond their NPRA membership and be certified by our association. They take a test. It's rigorous. And the folks that there's other tests out there. Certified Senior Advisor is one. Certified Dementia Practitioner. This is the only one. The CPRS is the only one for placement agents. So there's a directory on our website of folks that hold the CPRS designation. You can search, sort, and filter any way you want, by city, by distance, by name, by company. So it's a great resource, and it's just up over the last 2 weeks. We just launched a new website, and then for members of placement agent members, that's where it gets really good, because the good stuff for placement agents behind the paywall, where you can see what's going on in any given state, legislatively, from a marketing perspective, from a community perspective. Have some practices changed? Have some communities opened or closed or whatever? And you can see that in our NPRA community for members only.
Oh, that's really helpful. Don, thank you for your time and explaining everything. Thank you so much for watching. Please press subscribe and the bell notification to see future videos, and hope to see you in the next one.